What's up, guys? Bang, bang. This video is brought to you by PrimeXBT. They are a crypto trading platform that has an excellent award-winning environment for margin trading. If you want to go check out their crypto trading, be sure to check out their copy trading module, which allows you to replicate the trades of the most successful traders with a proven track record. If you're interested, you can register with the link below and you can get a 50% deposit bonus. Go check them out at PrimeXBT, and let's get into this interview. All right, guys, bang, bang. I've got a special treat for you. I've got Matteo here. Thank you so much for doing this, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm happy and excited.
All right, let's go through your background. Before you started 8 Sleep, you had like 2 or 3 other lives. You did not grow up in the United States, and then you've built a number of other companies. Kind of walk us just through your background.
Yeah, so when I was a teenager, I was an athlete. I was playing tennis tournaments. That is how I was spending my life. And then graduated in law, joined 2 large law firms. And then I became an entrepreneur, started 2 companies. Both of them, they were in solar, so in renewable energy, climate change. And then I got into health and performance again with 8 Sleep.
All right. And where were you doing the other companies? In Italy?
One in Europe, one in the US.
Got it. And so when you start 8 Sleep, the general idea is sleep fitness. So I want to start there. Just what is sleep fitness?
Yeah, so we are really trying to reinvent the concept of sleep. Sleep is not something passive that you have to do and is a waste of your time. Sleep is like going to the gym. It's something you need to do to be healthy, to be fit. So go to bed, take your time, recover, let your body and your mind recover. So then in the morning, you will be fit and you will perform at your best. There is a tagline that we use for 8 Sleep that is, we fuel human potential through better sleep.
And so when you think through that, I think most people say, okay, I have to sleep for 8 hours. I wish I didn't have to sleep for 8 hours. I'm not doing anything productive. Talk through kind of how you and Alex and your third co-founder, when you went to go start 8 Sleep, like what was the general idea of what you could do to actually improve this for people?
Yeah, so there are 2 things we really want to do. We want to compress sleep and we want to save your life. Compressed sleep means, what if you could sleep only 6 hours and get more rest than when you were sleeping 8 hours? And then I can tell you how we can do that. But so we want to give you 2 hours back of your life every day. Second, because it's still 6 hours, which is a lot of time, how can we make that time productive? We will scan your body in order to identify early signs of illness, like even cancer. So going to bed will be more valuable than going to your doctor. Every night it will be like going to your doctor.
So when you think, let's start with kind of compressing time first, right? Everyone is told since they're a little kid, get 8 hours, get 8 hours. And the thought process is you need 8 hours of sleep because that is what allows you to actually recover and kind of let the body do what it needs to do. How do you think you can compress that from 8 hours to 6 hours, yet have people just as rested or more rested than they are today?
The reality is when they tell you, oh, you need 8 hours, it's sort of bullshit. Sorry for the word. The point is we don't use technology to enhance our sleep, right? And so we go to bed and we expect to wake up refreshed. And more or less, rule of thumb, you need 8 hours. But the reality is this. So you will get around 20% REM if you're lucky. It could range between 17 and 25, call it 20. You will get 20 of deep sleep, again, 17 to 25, but let's call it 20 plus 20. 60% of your time or 50% of your time is light sleep. Light sleep is an inefficiency of your body. You don't really need it. What you really need is REM for your mind and deep sleep for your body to recover. So our goal is to compress the amount of light sleep. And if we cut that in half, that is how we gain 2 hours.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, there's REM, there's deep sleep, and there's light sleep. When you go to sleep, what happens to the body?
Yeah, so The first part of the night is about deep sleep. Deep sleep is usually what you need to really recover at the physical level, your body. Then once your body has recovered, the second part of the night will have a prevalence of REM. REM instead is for your mind. So it's the moment where all the information that you have received during the previous day gets reorganized and saved in your brain. REM is also when you dream. And so the body gives first most of the attention to deep because the physical body needs to recover. And then only once that is done, it gets more into REM. But the reality is you go through cycles, or 90-minute cycles of light sleep, deep, and REM, but the percentages change based on what I just told you.
And so in those cycles, you're literally going from light to deep to REM. Is it good or bad to have more or less cycles, right? Like, is it something where if I go through 3 cycles, then that's okay, but if I got 5 cycles, it's better, or is just 1 cycle okay?
At the end of the day, what you need is a certain amount of deep and REM. And usually the cycles tend to be quite standard, so around the 90 minutes, unless you have some special dysfunction. And so the key at the end of the day is to get this 20% plus deep sleep out of the 8 hours, so you can translate that in minutes, and the same for REM. So for example, in my case, if I get anything below 18% deep and REM, I start struggling during the day. I'm not in my peak performance. Anything above 20%, I'm like a lion, and I can get anything done that day. So that is what really matters. And the amount of light sleep is still just in the efficiency of your body.
Okay. And so when you think through this kind of company mission of we want to compress the amount of time that you sleep, you mentioned compressing the amount of light sleep. So not really touching deep sleep or REM, but cutting from maybe 4 hours to 2 hours, right? In terms of this light sleep. Is it possible to extend or kind of elongate the deep sleep and the REM as well? So you almost get some of it is compressed on the light sleep side, but also elongating the time for deep and REM?
Yes and no, meaning the key for us is for you to achieve these, let's call it 20%, just faster. Once you have the 20%, you feel great. You don't really need more than that. And so the key is how do we get you there faster? And so we will help you fall asleep faster. We will help you get deep sleep sooner rather than later. And we will try to extend that percentage across these 90-minute cycles.
Got it. And you are literally like the foremost expert I know on sleep. I, as many people know at throughout 2020, spent a bunch of time trying to figure out how to get better sleep. I am a full-on convert. If this was a religion, like I would be all in. I would go to church every day and tell people like, yes, sleeping more absolutely has this positive impact on your body and your mind. What are some of the tips and tricks that you think through in terms of helping people get better sleep, but not products that you provide? So is there things that they can do with their lifestyle before bed or maybe even during sleep that they can actually get better sleep or get more rest?
Yeah. So outside our products, right, what everyone can do. So first, if you talk to any sleep doctor, the first thing they would tell you is sleep consistency. So try to go to bed at the same time. More than anything, wake up at the same time every day, even on Saturday and Sunday. Because if you just sleep in, you're just jet lagging your body, and then on Monday you will struggle again to wake up. While instead what you want to do is you want to train your body to wake up every single day at that time. Doesn't matter what the time is, it just needs to be always the same. And then if you can, try to go to bed at the same time, but on that you can be more flexible. Then second thing is what I call thermal shocks. So one thing I do and I love is you could do a shower and you keep switching between hot and cold 10 times, 30 seconds hot, 30 seconds cold. This thermal shock will really help you relax. At least obviously it's very personal, but with me works really well. Another option that you have, if you have access to that, is a sauna and an ice bath. But even just a shower works great. orange lights. So I have Philips Hue at my house. You can set what are called routines. And so starting at 7:30, my lights started dimming down. And first they switch to orange, and then they keep dimming down. And by 9:30, there is no more light in my house. And so orange lights helps you develop a melatonin. And the fact that lights keep dimming down will help you understand that time for bed time is coming. You can try some supplements. You can use melatonin. I use it from time to time. Some people use CBD, or you could also try magnesium. Magnesium will not have a direct impact on your sleep, but it will help you relax your muscles. And then personally, I do some mobility exercises before going to bed for the hips, for the body, just kind of relax and open up your body before you spend 8 hours on the bed.
Yeah. And so each one of those things, I think, can have a positive impact alone. But when you put them together, obviously, it can be quite advantageous. The one thing I didn't hear you mention, but I know we've talked about before, is just like actually tiring yourself out during the day to go to sleep. Talk a little bit about, if you do that, like what the advantage for that is.
Yeah, a couple of things. Yeah, the best way is, you want to work out, or you really want to make sure you're tired. But one thing I notice on my body is, if, for example, I work out later in the afternoon or in the early evening, then you reactivate your body, and then my sleep is not that good. So if you can, try to work out in the first part of the day or by lunchtime, but don't do it at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., or 8 p.m. because otherwise that will reactivate your heart rate. So it will take time for your heart rate to really stabilize and relax again. You will start producing more heat, which will make more difficult for your body to fall asleep. The other two big things that have an impact on your sleep are caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine, the rule of thumb is stop drinking 8 hours before going to bed. Then our data shows that everyone is different. So you might suffer caffeine more than I do, or vice versa. So test it. And the last one is alcohol. I stopped drinking in April 2019. You and I, we spoke about that. Alcohol has an impact on deep sleep, on REM, on your body temperature, HRV, and also your heart rate at rest.
Explain more about the alcohol, because I don't think people really understand this, right? There's a lot of people who say, oh, when I get drunk, then I pass out and I fall asleep. It's amazing. But what's kind of happening from a physiological standpoint when you put alcohol in your body before you try to sleep?
Yeah, so from a physiological standpoint, you have this sense where, it's going to relax my mind. My mind stops from racing, and then I can fall asleep. But the reality is the quality of sleep that you will get is low quality. And so in the morning when you wake up, your HRV, which is heart rate variability, and it's a good metric to determine how rested you are, will just be lower than expected, because that had an impact on your heart rate as well. The other big thing is, in particular, as you get older, you will see that alcohol has an impact on your body temperature. And so if I drink, I will start feeling hot in the middle of the night. And so that will be an additional thing that will impact my sleep quality. So overall, you don't feel it. You just think that it's relaxing you. But at the end of the day, the type of sleep you get is poor.
So you stopped drinking in April 2019. I haven't drank all of January. We're recording this towards the end of January, and I feel amazing. Definitely has improved my sleep. So I can kind of speak to that. But you still drink coffee. And so how do you think about caffeine in general for you? Do you drink in the morning and then you stop at a certain time? Do you limit yourself to how much you drink?
Yeah, so I'm Italian, and so I drink espresso. And I drink 3 espressos that more or less they are the equivalent of 1 cup of coffee, American coffee. And I have one early in the morning around 9. Then I have one around 11:30, and the last one by 2. One thing I started doing because I wanted to reduce the caffeine intake was to switch to decaf. And so I still have 3 espresso, but they are decaf. And so usually with the decaf, you are just intaking 1/3 of caffeine compared to a regular coffee. And so at the end of the day, it's something like if I was having only 1 espresso for the whole day.
That's super interesting. And then you mentioned working out as something you do in the morning. Is there certain types of exercises that are better or worse for sleeping? Should I think about it in terms of running or other cardio type exercises versus weightlifting, or is it all kind of the same? It's just burning calories?
So for sleep itself, it's probably all the same. At least we don't have data about that yet. What I can tell you is when you think in terms of longevity for your body, you should think in 3 dimensions. The first one is high intensity interval training. So spike your heart rate as much as you can, let it drop, spike it again. You will see incredible results immediately in your biometrics. Even if you just use an Apple Watch, you will be impressed. Second, you want to do weight training, so you want to really build the muscles. There is plenty of medical evidence that weightlifting is really good for your longevity and for your body long term. And the third one is mobility. So you want to make sure as you get older that you maintain a good mobility, which will be extremely key when you start getting into the 70s or 80 years old.
Yeah, makes sense. So we've talked a lot about what you can do kind of during the day or before bed. You at 8 Sleep really solve the problem of what people can use at night, right? And kind of what are the products that you could actually use to get better sleep? Maybe walk us through just what that product suite looks like today.
Yeah, so the biggest factor impacting your sleep quality, which we didn't mention yet, is temperature. 50% of the couples, they fight around temperature. And the reason is pretty simple. Temperature is different for each of us. When you hear people saying, oh, you should sleep at 68 degrees, it's wrong. And the reason is your body temperature changes during the night. And so the temperature of the environment and the temperature of the bed need to change accordingly. So a fixed temperature will never work. It will not work for you. It will not work for your wife. It will not work for myself. And so that is what we developed. We developed a technology that changes the temperature of your body during the night based on your biometrics. And there is medical evidence that through temperature adjustment, we can improve your sleep performance. You can fall asleep faster. You can get up to 20% more deep sleep. You can get more REM. And our data shows that we are also reducing toss and turns and wake ups by 30 to 40%. So 96% of our customers are reporting better sleep with our product.
And so when you think about how the product works, I have one. It's amazing. I sleep colder than Plana sleeps. But how does the product itself actually work? There's a mattress, there's a pod cover, but just walk us through kind of like what those products actually are.
Yeah, so there are 2 form factors. You can buy the whole mattress, and I call it the Lamborghini of the mattresses for the sleep performance. And then there is the mattress cover. So you can retrofit any dumb mattress. Let's say you don't want to change your mattress, you like it, you just bought it, you just want to put our technology on top of it. Now you can do it. Technology is the same across the 2 devices, and it does 2 main things. First, dynamic temperature control. So we can change the temperature of your body during the night, and each side of the bed can have a different temperature. Second, the technology comes with embedded sensors. So we are able to track everything about your heart rate, your respiration, and your sleep.
And so when you've got the temperature regulation going on, it's basically taking water and it's putting it through this kind of cover, right? And that's what is being chilled or potentially even heated in some situations?
Yeah, so the temperature can range anywhere between 55 degrees and 100 degrees. It can be really cold or really hot. 90% of our customers, they are kind of in the middle, so they don't need that extreme temperature. Some customers love to get into bed and find it extremely cold. Usually men like not to find the bed really cold, while instead women like to find it warmer. But obviously it depends. It depends on your obviously gender, on your body fat, on your age. For example, women in menopause, they have hot flashes, and so they want the cold bed. So we are able to adjust based on all these different needs. But the other key thing is we will change the temperature during the night. And so usually as soon as you fall asleep, we will try to cool you. And in the second part of the night, when you tend to have more REM, we will try to provide thermal neutrality. The reason is this: when you are in REM, you're dreaming, right? And so your brain deactivates a lot of body functions, including temperature control. If your brain feels that the environment is too hot or too cold, it will not let you get into REM because you could die if you were like in a storm, right? Mm-hmm. And so the key for REM is thermal neutrality, where your brain understands that the environment is safe and it can let you fall into REM.
And so when this is happening, how much of this is I have to be a genius and understand my body and set the temperature and also the different times through the night correctly versus you'll tell me kind of proactively, hey, many people like you are likely to want, plus or minus degrees at certain times in the night?
Yeah, so there are two tiers, right? Right now we are in the first tier. And the first tier is about suggesting you what you should set as a temperature, right? So this is the recommended temperature for people of your gender and this age. Plus we see environmental changes. So let's say the weather in Miami changes, we will provide a different recommendation. But the end goal that is going to come in a couple of months is temperature autopilot. That is one of the most requested features. And so we will be able to control the temperature for you. So set it and forget it. We will maximize the temperature for you. And then in the near future, there will be different modes or profiles where you will be able to say, look, I want to optimize this thing. Let's say a lower heart rate. That is what we will be able to do for you through machine learning and AI.
Yeah. And it's super smart, right? Because basically you've got this product out with all the customers. You're gathering data because the sensor's in the bed. You've got a very slick kind of mobile phone application. And over time, you're just learning, right? I mean, it's very similar. You and I've talked before about like Tesla and the fact that they've got all these cars on the road and they're just gathering data. And so they're so far ahead than everyone else with the data that ends up being a pretty significant advantage.
Yeah, we have already collected several million hours of sleep, right? And the database keeps growing. Obviously, we are in compliance with all the rules, anonymized and aggregated data. But yeah, we are learning. We are becoming one of the largest sleep databases in the world. And based on this data, we can become better and better at optimizing your sleep.
So for the people that use the existing products, either the mattress or the mattress pod, what is the kind of normal response? Do people, is it longer sleep? Is it deeper sleep? Like what are some of the things that you see in the data that people get as a benefit?
So the most obvious already today are they're falling asleep faster and they are getting more quality of sleep. In particular, we are reducing toss and turns and we are reducing wake ups by up to 40%. So a really meaningful number. And so they really have this higher sleep efficiency, I would say, so they can wake up more rested in the morning.
I want to talk about the future products and some of the things that you think that you guys will be able to do over time. So today you've got things that make you sleep better, but you mentioned already there's a whole nother kind of mission to the business and your vision, which is being able to turn the time that you are asleep into more productive time. Talk a little bit about kind of what you're envisioning and hoping to build in that perspective.
Yeah, so first we want to reinvent the form factor of the bed. To me, it's unacceptable that with millions of people are still sleeping on a piece of dumb foam that has been the same for 2,000 years. That doesn't work. So the way your bed looks will be different soon. And we will start controlling a lot of different environmental factors, not just temperature. We will control everything to optimize your sleep and make sure that you can sleep faster.
So real quick, when you say you're going to change the kind of the shape of the bed or the bed as an actual form factor, I don't know how much you want to talk about what exactly you're going to do, but just give people a sense like, are you going to try to turn the bed from laying horizontal to vertical and people are going to stand up and sleep, or what? How do you think about that?
Yeah, it's tricky between what I can say and what I cannot say. What I would say is this: we want to control all the environmental factors that impact your sleep quality. So we want to have your back while you're asleep, and we want to make sure that we help you sleep faster, that we track your health, and we also help your body to regenerate and sleep and live longer. And this is connected to the second piece, that is the health piece. The beauty of what we do is we have a lot of space because the mattress is pretty big and our AOV is high. So adding sensors for $20 or $40 is not going to move our margins. This means that we can keep adding sensors that are valuable for our users in order to be able to track more biometrics and have a better understanding of their health. A friend of mine, she just recently lost her dad because he had cancer. And they discovered this cancer a couple of months before he ended up dying. That to me is unacceptable. Right now, we don't have any control in what is going on in our body. And so I want to solve and fix that problem. And there is a product that is your bed that you use every single day for 10 years. And so you're sleeping there, so you're not moving a lot, you're resting. And so it's the perfect environment to scan your body every single day for the next 10 years. And we will see how you're aging, and we will see if there is any early sign of cancer or any other disease.
And so when you think through that, is this something that you'll be able to scan and you'll like stream to a doctor? Is it something where you'll be able to tell maybe variations of the biometrics and then just tell people, hey, something seems to be off, you should go see a doctor? Like, how do you kind of look at people basically taking the information that you're able to monitor and glean and actually turn it into something that might be useful for them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are a lot of rules and regulations, and we'll be in compliance with that. But oversimplified, the latter, so what you just said, right? The key will be to see if there is anything off compared to your baselines. And if there is, we will notify you and we will give you the advice to go and talk to your doctor. The end goal is not to replace the doctor. We actually want to enable the doctor to have much more data about what is going on in your health and be able to act sooner rather than later to save your life.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan, as are many people on the internet. And it seems like you guys have been able to build somewhat of a cult following. Obviously, if you help people sleep better, maybe it's just they're in a better mood. And so they naturally have this affinity for your product. But also you have this kind of aspirational goal and mission in terms of not only making people sleep better, but also helping them to live healthier, longer lives. On top of that, what do you think is driving that kind of cult following online? And is there anything specific that you guys have done that was more intentional to kind of help build up that following and that loyalty and engagement?
Yeah, I think we did a couple of things. First, we have a very different perspective of sleep. It's not a sleep like being comfy on a Sunday morning with waffles on your bed. That is not us, and that is not me. Right? We are about performance. We are about, okay, this is time to recover. It's like going to the gym. It's going to be 8 hours today, hopefully less in the future. But this is a moment where you need to take care of your body to then perform at your best. And I don't think there is any other company that thought of sleep like a sort of fitness. And that is why we invented the name Sleep Fitness. That is one. And I think second is, I really think we are at 2% of our product vision. And customers start understanding that we are a cutting edge technology company. We're not a mattress company. We're not a mattress cover company. We are really trying our best to introduce technology to enhance our recovery and sleep. And I don't think there is anyone else there. There are wearables and they're doing a great job, but I think wearables, they stop at the data. They just try to recommend you something based on the data. The difference in our case is we are going to do the job for you. While you are asleep, our machine learning models are there working for you to optimize your sleep performance. So we are into this together, and we will keep developing technology to improve your life and give you 2 hours of life back per day.
And so when you think about giving that 2 hours of life back, is the idea that people will be awake and functional and can kind of go do other things? Is it no, it's going to take an hour to get ready for sleep and kind of, actually fall asleep, and it'll take an hour to wake up, and kind of like one of those alarm clocks that almost, slowly wakes you up with light and sound? How do you kind of think about that 2 hour savings and what people will do with it?
So I think the end goal is to really give you 2 hours back that you can spend with your loved ones, or that you can spend doing whatever matters to you. At the end of the day, I mean, the whole point of how the company started is because I started wondering, why do I need to sleep 8 hours? Can I sleep 4 hours and work harder or do other things? And that is when I started reading clinical papers, and I understood that the 8 hours is not written anywhere that we need 8 hours. We need that amount of deep and REM. And so to me is, if we can make our bodies more efficient without compromising our health, without compromising our longevity, then I'm 100% for that. But today, if you were sleeping 6 hours or 5 hours, you were doubling your risk of heart attack. You were doubling your, the risk of high blood pressure. You were risking of dying earlier. So all that, I'm not open to it. And so through technology, we are trying to find the compromise between these 2 benefits.
We didn't talk about food. Is there anything there, whether it's before you go to sleep or when you wake up, that has an impact on sleep?
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, my advice is try to eat a couple of hours before going to bed. Obviously, the heavier you eat, the worse. There are a bunch of studies that have also shown that carbs will help you fall asleep faster, but the quality of sleep you get will be lower. And so try to find the right compromise. The most recommended diet is the Mediterranean diet, which is kind of balanced, with also olive oil and fish and avocado, veggies, all that kind of things. So definitely there is a direct correlation between sleep and nutrition. The other interesting correlation is, if you're sleep deprived, you will start craving more junk food. There are some changes that happen in your hormones. So there is plenty of medical evidence of why that is happening. So it's not just you that you have this placebo effect that you're craving a pizza if last night you slept 4 hours. There is really something happening in your body. And so it's really important that you try to sleep at least 7 hours, 7 to 9 hours per day, to really make sure that you will also lose weight, because you will keep your diet healthier as a consequence of feeling better.
If we fast forward 10, 15 years, what's the hope for where sleep is? Is it a mattress in every bedroom and you're scanning people's bodies, or kind of what do you think, 10, 15 years from now is the kind of the holy grail?
Yeah, I think the concept of sleep fitness will be mass consumer, right? So people will think of sleep like going to the gym. We will have sleep enhancement devices. You might call it beds, but they are really sleep enhancement devices. And preventative health will be huge, right? You will be able to know if there is anything wrong in your body 6 months, 12 months, even years before you will do today. And so you will be able to live a healthier and longer life just because of that.
So if everyone calls it a bed, which is BED, and you call it a sleep enhancement device, which is SED, is that an intentional just changing of one letter in there?
That's good. You just give me an idea.
I love it. All right. When you think about the one person that you would love to have 8 Sleep in their hands, who's the one person in the world that you don't believe has the product yet, but you would love to put it in their hands?
Well, that is a pretty good question.
Matteo would never say I had a great question. He'll say I had a pretty good question, though.
I don't know. I mean, I think there are multiple people, top athletes, but if I could pick one, I don't have a name, but any doctor who is a surgeon, because he can save lives. So if we can fuel his or her potential through better sleep, we might be able to start saving lives sooner through them.
That's a great answer. I ask everyone the same 3 questions, and then you could ask me one to finish. But one of the questions we already talked about. So the first question is, what is the most important book that you've ever read?
Obviously, I'm biased on that. Why We Sleep, and I think the reason is this: it will open your eyes. It's not a book. I'm not affiliated with that, so we don't work with Matthew Walker. But I think it will open your eyes about the importance of sleep and how sleep can impact your longevity and your health. I think very few people, including myself, were not aware or are not aware of that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. I highly recommend it. And if people don't want to listen to the book, you can just listen to him talk. I think he went on Rogan and a couple other podcasts and did a great job there as well. The second question I usually ask is people's sleep routine. Maybe for you, what time do you go to sleep and what time do you wake up?
Yeah, I go to sleep early. You often make fun of me. But yeah, between 9:30 and 10, I'm usually in bed, and by 10 I'm asleep, except when I have dinner with you and Paulina, and you keep me up at night.
So you don't actually go to sleep that early, 9:30, 10. Like I try to, go 10 o'clock. It would be like a good time to go to sleep. But I do laugh when we're trying to meet up for dinner and I feel guilty if I'm like, hey, do you want to meet at 8? I'm like, oh, but then he's going to try to run out at 9:15 to go home to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I love it. Last question, aliens, are you a believer or a non-believer?
100% believer. They exist, and I will fuel their potential through better sleep.
I have not had anyone offer to give aliens a sleep enhancement device. You might be the first for that.
I will give them an SED device.
As long as they have money and they're willing to drive revenue, then they're in the total adjustable market, right?
Yeah, I should talk to my head of ops and see how we can ship to them, but we will figure it out.
I for those that don't know, Keith Raboy from Founders Fund now is on the board at 8 Sleep. So I would love to see the reaction when you tell Keith, "Hey Keith, we're going to increase the total addressable market because we're going to start to incorporate the alien population as customers."
Keith always says, if you have a new proposal, is this going to add a 0 to your top line? And I think the aliens can add a 0 to the top line. So
he does say that. That's great. All right. You can ask me one question to finish up. What do you got for me?
How many hours do you sleep per night?
Oh, I'm 8 hours now. I used to not be. Okay. I mean, you know this. I used to be, 5.5, maybe 6, and I was great. We're recording this today, and today is the day, one of the 2 days of the week where I do a bunch of podcast recordings, and I slept 7 hours and 20 minutes last night after being on an epic run of 8 to 9 hours. And I was telling Paulina today when we went to go get lunch, like I can feel like I am not rested, which is crazy because 7 hours and 20 minutes historically would have been, the equivalent of me sleeping like 8 or 9 now. But it's once you get used to the good life, she said, it's hard to go back to the bad life, which I agree with.
Actually, there is one thing I always recommend to people, and is this: try to sleep 1 hour more per night for 1 week. Just 1 week. Commit for a week, and you add 1 hour per day to your sleep. And after that week, you tell me how you feel. If you don't feel great, we'll figure it out and I give you some money back. But if you feel better, then you will decide to stick with that.
Yeah, I think that you tell people that because you know that they'll feel better, which is cheating. Where can we send people if they want to buy an 8 Sleep mattress or if they want to learn more about the company?
Yeah, go to 8sleep.com, 8 like the number, but in letters. So EIGHT sleep.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter. I'm in the homepage of the website. So there is where you can find my Twitter.
So I was going to say you're up in your Twitter game. I see now all of a sudden you're going viral. So people should definitely go follow you on Twitter. I think you and my brother may be having a competition on who can write better threads at the time.
But he's another level. He give me tips, and we are a thread 101 with me. and he's the coach. So
don't tell people that, because then everyone's going to be DMing him, asking him to help them. He's going to come back and say it's all Matteo's fault.
Yeah. Actually, so he gave me the tip, and that day I just published the 8 hacks to improve your sleep. We were already working on that, but it's funny because we posted that thread like 3 hours after I spoke to him, and I got almost 5,000 likes. And so he texted me saying, "You see, I told you that threads work." Yeah.
Don't let him take credit for your hard work. He does. Yeah. He's been doing that in my family for literally 20 years. He's been taking credit for everyone's hard work. So don't let him steal that from you. Yeah. All right, Matteo, thank you so much for coming and doing this. I'm obviously a huge fan. I sleep with the product every night. Couldn't recommend it more to folks. So head on over to 8sleep.com, and we'll do this again in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.